Hello, in this video we're going to write a program that computes the sum of a series, and we're going to do this using a for loop to calculate the result. So, the series in particular that we're interested in is this one. So, you can see here immediately there's a bit of a pattern. We've got 1 divided by 3 plus 3 divided by 5 plus 5 divided by 7. So you'll notice that these are firstly all odd numbers, but you'll notice that the denominator here becomes the numerator here. And this continues on through the entire series. Figuring out patterns like this makes it a lot easier to compute the result, and we're going to go all the way up to 99. So using this information and the little bit of insight we have here, because we can see this relationship, we can actually compute this pretty easily. So let's jump over to Eclipse, where I've created a new project called Sum a Series, and to this we'll add a class, also called Sum a Series. Now, the first thing we'll do here is have our main method. We're not going to be reading any input here, so just public static void main string array args. And inside our main method, we're going to declare a double variable called sum, and it's going to be initialized as the value 0, and this is where we're going to put our result. Next up, we're going to use a for loop to calculate this result. So for. Now, what are going to be our arguments to the for loop? Well, you'll remember here that we're starting with 1. The very first number we see here is 1, and that is also going to be how we start our for loop. So int I equals 1. We're going to go until I is less than or equal to 97, and you'll see why it's 97 in just a minute. And remember, we're using only odd numbers here, so our increment is going to be 2. So I plus equals 2. Alright, inside our for loop, we're going to add something to our sum. So sum plus equals. Now, what are we going to add? Well, we're going to have 1.0 multiplied by I to start with. The reason we're doing this, by specifying 1.0 here, we are immediately causing this result to be a double. That's very important because we're going to do a division in a second, and we don't want to have integer division where we truncate the remainder. Remember, integer division, there's no decimal point, so it just gets truncated. We don't want that. We want the real number result. So simply by prefixing our calculation with 1.0, we guarantee that. So I divided by, well, what is I going to be divided by? Come back over here. You can see it's just I plus 2. So 1 plus 2 is 3, 3 plus 2 is 5, 5 plus 2 is 7, etc. So it's just going to be whatever I is plus 2. So back over in Eclipse, in parentheses, I plus 2. This also explains why our for loop only goes to 97, because 97 plus 2 is 99, and 99 is the end of our series. So that's why our for loop only increments to 97. And that is all there is. That's how we can calculate this sum. Again, very simple. Simply by using a for loop and having a bit of insight into what the series actually represents, we can do this quite easily. So finally, we'll just print the result. Sum is... Okay, I'll save that and we can run this and see what happens. The result is 45.1244500303, etc. Just because we have a bit of time, if we were to get rid of this and just do I divided by I plus 2, which is what the series is, if we run this again, we get 0. So that's why it's very important to make sure we don't accidentally do integer arithmetic. And we can get around that simply by prefixing our entire formula with 1.0, which automatically means this gets processed as a double, not an int. It's very important. But again, very simple if we understand what's going on in our series, and that is the result that we're looking for. So with that, that's it for this video. Thanks a lot.